Finance Committee will come to order. We're going to discuss the Purdue Pharma Chapter 11 filing, and take it away, Mr. Hurdle.
We received notice of the filing by Purdue Pharma, one of the major marketers of opioids. It's filing for business reorganization under Chapter 11. And for those of you fortunate enough not to be exposed to bankruptcy law, Chapter 11 is not a quote straight bankruptcy where assets are simply liquidated and then dispersed pro rata to creditors. It's more in the form of a reorganization of the business. And in this particular case, the exposure that Purdue Pharma is attempting to manage are the multitude of lawsuits filed, both class actions and otherwise, throughout the country, maybe even throughout the world, suing Purdue Pharma for damages that people and companies have suffered as a result of the opioid epidemic that Purdue Pharma had a significant role in causing. The filing of the Chapter 11 bankruptcy proceeding, which is in this case filed in the Southern District of New York, causes all other litigation against Purdue Pharma to be stopped in its tracks. So all of those class action lawsuits that have been filed by the Attorney Generals of the various states and by all sorts of creditors of Purdue Pharma will now be consolidated and handled and disposed of in conformity with the bankruptcy law in the state of New York. We were put on notice of the filing of the case because Purdue Pharma is assuming that governmental entities, many of which have already sued Purdue Pharma, are going to make a claim against the company. And so this is a way to flush out those claims and to do it in an orderly and somewhat timely fashion. What they'll do, as Dow Chemical did in the silicone breast implant products liability litigation, which was a nationwide litigation, is file a Chapter 11, put a stack of money so high, whatever finally the creditors in the bankruptcy court will agree might be adequate to settle the claims, and then the claimants come in and take from the fund that is established in the reorganization. I communicated this, of course, to Recorder Durham, and she reported that this company does not directly owe the city of McMinnville any money according to our records. These claims, many of these claims, most of these claims, will be filed by individuals or survivors of persons who ended up with opiate addictions. But there will also be claims filed, and have been class actions filed, again by attorney generals of various states, like the cost of providing law enforcement and first responders with Narcan, to treat those patients with necessary medical tools, unreimbursed emergency room care for addicts who were provided medical care as a result of their addiction. Lots and lots and lots of indirect costs that are really beyond my imagination, certainly beyond my experience. I recommend that the board seriously consider hiring a firm who's already involved in class action litigation. I would not recommend paying attorney's fees based on an hourly basis. You wouldn't have any way to estimate or control how big that number might get. But you might reasonably consider offering a firm a percentage of any recovery And that way, it's nothing lost, nothing gained. There are not, in my opinion, lawyers locally, other than with the possible exception of Galvin Amendment, who have the practice experience in this type of litigation to invite or to offer the possibility of representation in whatever terms might be acceptable to them. That's casting no aspersions on other local lawyers, some of whom may practice bankruptcy law. Some I know do, but because of the formulation of damages and the experience that's required to formulate those damages and recognize those indirect cost figures, it really would behoove the city to engage counsel who has experience in that area of class action litigation. Now, I'm not sure that Mayor Newman was involved in it, but I know his partner, Mike Galligan, represented a local creditor, or the estate of a local creditor, who had a claim in the contaminated
The
injectables
NECC
litigation.
meningitis cases out of Austin.
And I believe that Mike even served on the creditors committee, which is basically a steering committee that is elected or appointed by the creditors of the company in general in the business reorganization. So he's the only lawyer I know locally who has experience and insight. Whether he would have any interest in participating in it or not would have to be determined. But it's very complicated, sophisticated litigation, and it's something that begs for experience. I did 20 years worth of bankruptcy work representing Citibank, but that was lending related bankruptcy proceedings, which would be nothing at all like what this case is about, but I don't consider myself experienced to do it. So I would recommend you ask for proposals of anyone who might be interested in representing the city. I'm not real keen on these national advertising firms, but that's just personal.
I would recommend also that any discussion with any attorneys be had in executive session, because this would be pending litigation.
Who would?
So your opinion is there's money out there regardless, and we deserve it just as much as any other city or
Yes.
municipality.
I don't think it would be possible to differentiate how the opioid epidemic has impacted citizens in McMinnville any more than citizens of New York City. I mean, at the end of the day, there's a commonality or similarity in how the claims arose. It's just a matter of how big the pie is that's to be divided and how many pieces it's going to be cut into. Now, lots and lots and lots of municipalities and governmental entities won't go to the trouble of filing and pursuing a claim, so they'll be leaving money on the table, and I don't think we should do that.
Should we authorize you to go search out a suitable attorney, or how do we proceed?
I'd be happy to. I know bankruptcy specialists and bankruptcy specialists who have participated in what were class action lawsuits before they went into bankruptcy. But you know, quite frankly, again, I would begin locally. I would first consult with Mike Galligan and see if he has an interest in it. But I certainly know plenty of lawyers out of town who have the specialty and expertise and the experience.
We need a vote on this, or just?
Basically, a request for proposals.
Yeah,
Okay.
proposals, and
Well, that's,
just have people come in and talk to us individually if they want to do that, instead of sending them an individual.
what kind of time frame do we have to join this thing?
time is not of the essence, but it is important that we not dilly-dally around because there is a claim filing bar date. It's some months out, but it'll take a while to get your arms around the nature and character of the claim you're gonna file. There's some stewing to do.
How will we come up with these indirect costs?
Well,
I think you'll
those
have-
are things that I think should be talked about in executive session.
Yeah.
All right,
And you're relying largely, again, on the specialty and experience of the lawyer in those regards, because class action lawsuits are really, really complicated.
okay. Any other questions, Tim, on this? If you'll start searching for people that we can sit down and talk with. Anybody else got anything to say about it?
I'm glad that that would be on the table for us. We've certainly had enough damage here from the opioids. Thank you.
Well, you probably see it every day in your counseling.
Well, if you just look at the expenses attendant to the drug court, as it relates to third-party medical treatment, I mean, it's all very, very, very expensive.
Inpatient treatment, foster care, counseling, trauma counseling.
Just out of curiosity, how many overdose deaths have we had given this?
Really, no, I think we're in the teens. I'm not sure.
In the what?
I don't know, I'm scared to guess.
It's
hard to say.
Yeah.
There were 781 opioid-related overdose deaths in Tennessee last year.
They break that down by county?
That we know of.
Yeah, and some estimates run as high as multiples of that figure, but it's not necessarily tracked depending on cause of death and circumstances.
I guess we need to include police chief when we sit down with these people too. Give his input into
I think I think that would be good. I don't know if he would destroy the executive, the privilege there, but I think once we choose someone, he definitely needs to, he'll need to be involved until,
Yeah, he can come in and inform us and then leave when we discuss it.
yeah, I think that would work.
I stand corrected, there were 1,186 opioid overdose deaths in Tennessee. Last year, 739 were patients who were being treated for work-related injuries. It was 739, so.
Okay, no one has any other questions or comments or whatever? Anything else come forward? Finance? Not, we're adjourned.